It's movie night, and we're back with another M. Night Shyamalan Best to Worst movie countdown. This is number 3 on my personal list. Major spoilers in this video and some little bit of disturbing imagery. So if you're a little young, I'm going to put some images up that may be a little disturbing, but overall I think it's okay. I just want to throw that out there just in case. This movie, let's just get right into it, stars Bruce Willis as Dr. Malcolm Crowe. You have Haley Joel Osment as Cole Sear, one of my favorite performances of his. Toni Collette, which is a great actress. She plays Lynn Sear, Cole's mother. And you have Olivia Williams playing Malcolm's wife, Anna Crowe. And you have Donnie Wahlberg in one of my favorite films and favorite scenes in films in movie history as Vincent Gray. Dr. Malcolm, played by Bruce Willis, Dr. Crowe, I should say, he's a child psychologist. And the movie opens up with one of the best scenes I've ever seen. Donnie Wahlberg's performance is worth watching this movie just for this scene. And it is one of the most disturbingly weird, most realistic scenario you find yourself in emotion-wise if this scenario was to play out. Of basically a former patient of his 10 years before that he had failed. And Bruce Willis's character has completely forgotten about this guy. And he just shows up in his underwear in his bathroom on a night where he was a child psychologist of the year, you know, and on that very night he gets shot by this guy, by a former patient, and then the kid, no, he's not a kid anymore, but the patient, Vincent Gray, ends up committing suicide in his bathroom, and his wife is standing there watching all this goes down. And we go from that and we go into Dr. Malcolm's relationship with Cole, this little boy who, to make a long story short, has a sixth sense. And as his last name suggests, which is very tongue-in-cheek, which is great by M. Night Shyamalan, his last name is Sear. So, as he sees. And in this movie, if you haven't seen it by now, go see it. But he sees dead people, this kid. And he sees them from all walks of life. And he sees them in all... He sees some that have just died. He's seen some that have been dead for hundreds of years. He sees this ghost appears here, this ghost appears here. And they keep just... Everywhere he turns, there they are. Toni Collette's character is... She puts on a performance that makes, really, to me, Toni Collette's character is the glue in this whole movie, because she kind of bridges the gap of believability with this kid seeing ghosts, because she doesn't know what the hell's wrong with him. And she's trying to figure all these things out. And there's little clues everywhere before he even says that he sees ghosts, because M. Night Shyamalan does a great way of not letting you know what is just going on with this kid before you see it. You suspect maybe he sees ghosts, but you don't know his inner relationships with them. You don't know how they're interacting with him. And it makes it very creepy and spooky, and it's unsettling. You feel so bad for the kid, but you understand the point of view of the mother. Dr. Malcolm comes in, and he wants to help Cole. He wants to help this little boy, especially after his failure with Vincent Gray. And you get into some really intense paranormal activity scenes with this kid. The way M. Night Shyamalan puts these scenes together, they're so random and out of place that you really don't know. It's not like there's just one entity in this house. These are ghosts from all over the place. That one here was poisoned by the mother. The ones over here are hung in this school. There's another one that, you know, she gets hit by a car and she's literally just standing next to him minutes after she died, and she's just looking at him. You have a little boy that has got his head bashed in, and they're just walking around. And this poor little kid is in his tent with a flashlight, and he's got all these crosses and crucifixes and the statues of Jesus Christ. And he's just trying to figure out, why are they picking me to talk to them about? And finally, after talking to Bruce Willis, after all these things, he finds out that they're coming to him for help. They want help. They want people to aid them in whatever which way they died. And a lot of these ghosts that are coming to him have died in very horrific, unfair ways, and they want somebody to hear their story, and they want somebody to, in the case of the girl who was poisoned by her mother, she wants him to let her family know that her mother was doing this to her. And he does it, and it's a great scene at the funeral where he shows up at this little girl's funeral to basically reveal to the father, hey, look, your wife killed your daughter, helped kill your daughter. And it's an amazing movie. And we fast forward that in Bruce Willis's relationship with him. Bruce Willis has gone through this very hard relationship with his wife, where they just, after the shooting, they are just not on the same page. It's almost like they don't even exist in the same space. And every scene with these two, there's a disconnect. And the way M. Night Shyamalan uses the camera to make it seem as if these two are in the same room together, when we're not, which is the twist at the end of the movie. And again, spoilers if you haven't seen this, my goodness. At this point, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to give you a second before I explain the real twist in the movie. Okay, I'm going to say it now. Bruce Willis is a ghost the entire time. And just like all the other ghosts, he thinks he's helping Cole, where in reality, he is really going to Cole for help. And the help is he needs to figure out how to say he's sorry to his wife about putting himself in a position and encompassing himself, literally just surround himself so deep in his work that he's getting awards for it, that he almost forgot about spending time with his wife. And then one night where he felt like, this is it, I've done everything I can do, now I'm going to start spending more time with my wife, and he gets killed by a former student that he's failed. He leaves his wife so unfulfilled and such a longing to want to be with him. He was gone so unexpectedly after that shooting. He was there one minute, gone the next. She's left in a world of emptiness and darkness, and she's trying to move on with her life. There's a guy in the movie who's trying to form a relationship with her, and Malcolm is basically stalking her and preventing this guy from getting close to his wife, because in his mind, he's not dead. Bruce Willis does not know he's not dead in this movie, and that is an incredibly well-shaped, weird, disturbing story where you have all these different relationships. And the most powerful moment in the movie, besides the ending scene where you find out Bruce Willis is a ghost, is the equally important scene before that moment. My favorite scene in the movie, and there's so many in this movie. The only reason why this movie is number one to me is because we've seen a lot of these things in other films before. It's just the way that this is packaged together. I just don't, for me personally, I don't believe it's better than Signs and Unbreakable, because we have never seen movies like that before and the way that those were made. The Sixth Sense, there's a lot of Exorcist type. It feels a lot like The Exorcist. It feels like a lot like some Alfred Hitchcock films. It feels like a lot of other ghost films we've seen, paranormal activity films we've seen. They're just meshed into one good story. That's why it's number 3, but it's not far behind the other two. I would say Unbreakable, The Sixth Sense, and Signs. I could really, next year I could have those 3 in a completely different order. Next year I could have Sixth Sense as my number 1 favorite. I don't think anything will ever beat Unbreakable as my number 1 favorite M. Night Shyamalan film. But this film is so good that I don't even think it's fair to even say it's number 3 on my list. I really feel like it's 1A or 2A, one in there. Those top 3 films of his are just, to me, the perfect films. He does such a good job with them. And this film, going into it, you just think it's a horror film. And back in the day, twists, when this movie came out in 1999, twists in films weren't as... It really shocked people when this happened. Now the shock value of any twist in the movie has gone away. And that's because, me personally, I think M. Night Shyamalan did such a great job with his shocks that it takes a lot to be able to shock an audience these days in films. And he is even finding that hard to do that still. And as you go longer in this list, we're going to see how hard it is for him to get to shock people, because you can start seeing them coming. You can start feel the beats a little bit. But when Unbreakable, Signs, and Sixth Sense came out, it was really hard to kind of get the twists and turns that M. Night would throw at you. Let's dive a little deeper in the story. Like I said, my favorite scene in the story was at the end of the movie. Toni Collette's character Lynn is sitting in the car with her son Cole. They've been back and forth. She's been trying to figure out what's wrong with Cole. He finally admits to her in the car that he sees dead people. That this whole time, she's been walking in rooms and all the drawers have been pulled out, and she blames it on him. And he didn't do it. It was a ghost that did it. And there was another scene where there was a pendant missing from her mother that had passed away. And she loved this pendant, and it keeps getting moved into Cole's drawer. And she blames him for moving it, and he keeps telling her, I haven't done it. And then come to find out, he says, look, I'm not the one who's doing it. Your mother's doing it. Because she wants me to tell you something. She wanted me to tell you that she loves you and she's proud of you. And Toni Collette's reaction to this is so realistic, so real. I don't know where she got the emotion. Just like Donnie Wahlberg at the beginning of this movie. I don't know where they conjured up the emotion to be able to pull these scenes off. Because they are just extraordinary performances. It's so incredibly difficult to pull that off. And me, has done a lot of acting myself and love film, and I write screenplays. I'm telling you, sometimes you get scared to write scenes like that because some people just are not able to pull off what you're writing. And M. Night, which makes him a great director, you have to not only write this stuff, he writes and directs these films. So he's not only writing this material, he lives and breathes this material. So he can get these performances out of these actors and actresses. And he does such a good job with casting. You just can't picture anybody else playing these characters. And her reaction to the end of that movie when he tells her that is heartbreaking, and I tear up every time. The Sixth Sense is one of the only movies out there that can actually make me cry every single time I watch it because of that scene. And in the scene with Bruce Willis telling his wife he loves him after he finds out that he's dead. And it's just a beautiful movie. It's so well put together. James Newton Howard is one of my favorite film composers, and his score, he does almost all of M. Night Shyamalan's films, and he's definitely in my top 3 of my favorite film composers. This score is amazing. It is so balanced between the horror elements with the strings, and he puts in literally breaths of people breathing and adds it into the score where you think you're listening to just sound effects. It's actually the score. It's just people breathing. It's just and then the piano pieces that he interweaves out the themes, the low tones, the beautiful piece at the end where the revelation where Bruce Willis finds out he's actually dead. The score really is another character in this movie. And I love that about him. And like I said, there's so many little hints. It's a rewatch movie, so when you go through it again and you rewatch it, the rewatch value of it is very high because it's one movie the first time you watch it. Then the second time you watch it, it's another movie. And the more you watch it, you start looking at all these clues that clearly said he was not there. And I just love that aspect of this film. If you have not seen The Sixth Sense, go and check it out. It's one of my favorite performances. And it is undoubtedly one of the greatest thrillers of all time. See you guys on the next movie night. Be safe.